Howdy, and welcome to the breakdown of each prototype. Today I'll be walking through our prototypes of the 2020 season. Let's start off with the intake. First, we started off with two wooden triangles with two PVC rollers in between that are powered by drills. And all of that was connected to a mod bumper, so we could see if we could pick up the power cells or not. Next is the second version. We replaced the wooden triangles with wooden arms on each side of the robot so we could extend them and retract them with two pistons. Now it's powered by Falcon 500, which is much more powerful than the drills. We then, for version 3, replaced the wood with Lexan so it could be lighter and withstand a hit from another robot. For our final version, we added a third roller and a net to keep the power cells from bouncing out. Now let's talk about the hopper. We started off with basically a wooden box without the sides, and in the middle were PVC tubes with hex shafts in them that were all connected with a less stretchy surgical tubing, making a U-shape, and we powered them with drills. Now how it was supposed to work was a power cell enters, goes through the U, and exits into the shooter. But the power cells were getting stuck in the middle and getting damaged, so we needed a new design. For our second version of the hopper, we have a wood triangle, and at the tip is a ramp that will lead the power cells into the shooter. We have two rollers that guide the power cells into the ramp. Now, since it's made out of wood and some random tube stock, it tended to give insufficient data. So for our third version, we replaced the wood parts with Lexan and the tube stock rollers with sheet metal rollers, and the ramp now has a wheel that is powered so it shoots the power cells quickly into the shooter. For our final version, we replaced all the Lexan parts with sheet metal to give it that nice sleek look. Next is our shooter. We started off with two wooden sides and a hood to help guide the ball. In the middle is a wheel that is being driven by Falcon 500, and since this was our first version, it didn't shoot the power cells very far, so we went off to make our second version. For our second version, we replaced the wood with metal so it would respond better to the speed of the wheel. How this one is set up, we have a wooden base so we could easily move it around. There are four metal poles holding up a sheet metal plate that has the hood to guide the balls, and the wheel to shoot them. And at the top of the hood is a metal bar to prevent the hood from bending back as a power cell gets shot. Now with this version, we could spin the wheel at higher speeds than before, which allowed us to shoot from a farther distance. But we still wanted to improve on it, so we decided to make a new shooter that hopefully greatly improve our shooting, but in the end, when we made it in real life, there were too many problems that we didn't have time to fix. So we ended up going back with the previous shooter, which worked great for what it is, but there was still a small problem with the shooter. The bar that we put on the hood to keep it from bending also prevented us from going under the trench, but luckily it was an easy fix. So for the final version of the shooter, we replaced the big bar with a smaller one, so now we can fit under the trench. Finally, we have the climber. Now, since we could do different climbers to achieve the same goal, we decided to test two. First, we started off by testing a telescoping climber. How we did it was we had three different size PVC pipes, one big, one medium, and one small, that were strung together so when we tightened the rope, it brought up the next one, and so on. Next, we tested a scissor lift. It works just like an actual scissor, but multiple stacked on top of each other. Sadly, we never got a climber on the robot this year, but next year we surely will. Thanks for watching and have a lovely day.